Welcome back to my views and news. Some new stories for you. Firstly, attack on a police station in Amhara region is being reported. This is the second attack on a police station in Amhara region since the start of tensions around 4 days ago. Why was the police station attacked? Before the attack, reportedly, some arrests were made by security forces in that town. Secondly, deaths of Ethiopian army's soldiers are being confirmed by pro-Ethiopian government sources. Not death in combat. There is ongoing fighting in Kobo, near Kobo Voldia. I am talking about deaths in the confrontation between Ethiopian army and protesters. And some protesters have also been shot dead reportedly. But no one is reporting. State media is silent. Thirdly, Getachew was seen with IDPs today. Tigray's interim president visited an IDP camp in Mekelle. And fourthly, a new story about a statement by a political party based in the Oromia region, which claims that a joint Eritrea Ethiopia military offensive on the Oromo Liberation Army is on the cards. Firstly, viewers, second attack on a police station in Amhara region is being reported. We must be careful because state media, regional state media is almost silent. It is not sharing any information about the ongoing tensions in Amhara region. Social media is full of false information because people have their propaganda and narratives to launch. So that is why it is difficult to get credible reports about what is happening in Amhara region. That is why I try to be slow, but I try to confirm things before sharing with you, because obviously false information can lead to escalation of tension. Before this news story, a viewer commented in a comment section a few hours ago saying there should be a Q&A, question and answer session, live chat. In the next 2 to 3 days, we'll try to have a question and answer session, especially about the ongoing issue in Amhara region. Now, Matimma is a town of the Amhara region, not far away from Sudan, Amhara, Sudan, Ethiopia border. And Ago fighters, Kemat fighters based in Sudan, they have been carrying out attacks on government forces in Matimma. Ago fighters are based in Sudan. Now, attack on a police station is being reported, not by Ago Kemat fighters. What we have learned is that in Matimma, some arrests were made. 2 soldiers of Amhara Special Force were arrested. 1 Fano member was arrested. They were taken to a police station in Matimma. After that, locals and some militia members, they stormed the police station and they freed Amhara Special Force members and Fano member from the police station. It is being confirmed by some sources, but obviously no report from the state media, regional media as well. Lawlessness will increase if there is no genuine constructive intervention by federal and regional governments to resolve this issue. Protests are getting bigger. All roads from Oromia to Amhara are blocked. ENDF could be trapped in Amhara. ENDF cannot use brute force against civilians. So that is why we're seeing that armed groups, maybe Amhara special force members in civilian clothes or Fano fighters are part of these groups. They are now dictating terms. They are not letting regional police arrest any members of Amhara special force or Fano. Second attack on a police station in almost 3 to 4 days. Immediate intervention is required, otherwise we could see security situation deteriorate further. Government will have to take the responsibility, it will have to take matters into its own hands through dialogue, through discussions. Otherwise, this thing happening in Amhara is a flashpoint. It can turn into a large-scale escalation. Ethiopia is just out of a conflict, 2-year-long conflict in northern Ethiopia, in Tigray, mostly in Tigray, Amhara, Far regions. Ethiopia cannot afford to have a new conflict. PM Abiy's government will have to make some concessions. Government is already faced with a crippling economic challenge. At this crucial time, continuation of this armed resistance and public resistance in Amhara could be a threat to the future of the government, to the economy to Ethiopian economy. Let's see, will government change its position? Though Amhara president implied a little today when he said that decision was not final. That is what is being reported by news sources, that he said that decision was not final, though it was being implemented in all regions about disarmament of special forces. Secondly, because deaths of some Ethiopian army soldiers and protesters are being reported in Amhara region. Again, I'm not talking about deaths in Kobo and Vuldia where there is fighting. Tomorrow we'll try to give you information, confirmed information from the ground. So far, in the 3-day-long protests across Amhara region, we saw that people confronted Ethiopian army. Some vehicles of Ethiopian army were set on fire. Ethiopian army tried to forcibly open roads, it could not. And in the confrontation, 3 Ethiopian army members were killed reportedly. It is being reported by pro-Ethiopian government activists and sources because protesters have been throwing stones at security forces. And security forces have been trying to shell as well. They shelled some areas. And in this shelling, some protesters were injured. Some say 3 were killed in Gajam, though it needs further verification. But deaths of protesters and some security officials are being reported by more than one sources. So it is happening, not being reported. So far, confrontation is between protesters, civilian and security forces, ENDF. Now, we're seeing a confrontation between Amhara Fano and ENDF. So you see, conflict is spreading. And we could see conflict between, direct confrontation between ENDF and Amhara Special Force members. So this tension is spreading because so far we have not seen any genuine effort to resolve the issue through dialogue. PM Abiy's government is warning, threatening that decision will be implemented no matter what the cost is. Amhara regional government is playing a double role. It is secretly supporting these protests, and it is backing Ethiopian government's position in its statements that decision should be implemented because it was agreed by all parties, federal government, regional governments. Thirdly, viewers, Getachew Tigray interim president was seen at a refugee camp, an IDP camp in Mekelle today. He shared a message from the camp. He shared a picture with an IDP woman at the camp. He said that the woman had lost her husband, her kids, her home, her eyesight. And she did not commit any crime. What was her crime? And she suffered. He said this suffering should come to an end. Getachew is definitely very active. Since his appointment as Tigray interim government head, we saw several important developments. Tigrayans being released from prisons, budget for Tigray released, government formed in Tigray. Now he is visiting IDP camps. He said that IDPs must be rehabilitated. They must return to their homes. And this is government's priority. And he is forming new alliance. He is trying to rebuild Tigray. Though we are seeing some issues as well. Is he going to be able to create level playing field for all political parties in Tigray, which is his main task, because he is the one, his government is going to hold regional election in Tigray, and he will hand over power to the next elected leader of Tigray. Can he give level playing field to all parties in Tigray? That is the test of his political maturity. And can he create unity within TPLF? So far, I think he is working. Speed is fast. So far, results are being seen. But obviously, a lot needs to be done in Tigray, a war-ravaged region. It will take time to restore region's health, education infrastructure, to revive all the, to regain the losses. But so far, I think he is performing well. Let's see what happens in future. Last reviewed statement of a party in Oromia, which we could not cover because of the ongoing protests and tension in Amhara region. Oromo Liberation Front (OLF) led by Daud Ibsa issued a statement 2 days ago saying that it had received credible information that Eritrean and Ethiopian militaries were planning a joint offensive, military offensive on the Oromo Liberation Army in Oromia. Statement came after a top Eritrean military delegation led by Amhara Kasa, Eritrean intelligence agency chief, visited Ethiopia. He visited Oromia region as well. He was seen with Shimalis Abdisa. His delegation was seen with Shimalis Abdisa, Oromia president. After that, OLF spoke. So OLF says it has credible information, intelligence that an offensive is coming on OLA. While we know that both Oromia government and OLA, they have issued separate statements showing their willingness to talk. They said they're ready to talk. Talks not started so far. By the way, 2 days ago, Ethiopian communication minister lady said that Shene fighters were surrendering arms. But I contacted an OLA spokesperson after that, and he said it was a total lie, false claim by Ethiopian government. OLA was not surrendering weapons, no start of talks between OLA and Ethiopian government. And then I contacted some people who said that no signs of any start of talks between OLA and Ethiopian government in Oromia. Rather, more deployment of Ethiopian military is being seen in Oromia. He predicted that there could be start of a new military offensive on OLA in Oromia. But due to the ongoing conflict in Amhara these days, which started a few days ago, military offensive against OLA could be postponed, because ENDF is now trapped in Amhara. It cannot afford to launch a new military offensive on OLA in Oromia. Having said that, no start of talks between OLA and Ethiopian government so far. Will Eritrea be involved in Oromia in the Home Military Alliance with ENDF? That we'll see in coming days. So far, this is OLF's claim. It has some credible information. We don't have any such credible information. Thank you for watching.